Ahoy there, mateys! Welcome aboard the Riff, Raff podcast. We are the pirates of the spicy waters. Come along with us and hoist the sail. We're navigating life through story and tale. We'll help you embrace the way you're wired, sharing laughs and lessons to get you inspired. If you join us, we will help you see there are a lot of ways to sail the neurospicy sea.
It is on like Donkey Kong.
That's
Paul's
the opening
doing a
line.
very serious
Yeah.
face. What's happening? You just blowing your nose into the microphone, and now you're all like, "Her." Didn't think that would come out, did you?
Well, it did. That's why he turned the screen off for a moment so he could deal with it properly.
So we can get it all out.
Yeah.
We've established that everybody could be wearing the
there
same
goes the
underwear but
screenshot.
washed.
Or the screen's not.
Yeah. So this is our pre-conversation, folks. Is we've established that everybody's could be or is likely wearing the same underwear as the last time we gathered. But I think we've all voted washed. We voted yes for yes. Okay. All right.
Yes. ... question mark, exclamation mark, ...
See what happens to me when you join 5 minutes late?
My computer was updating, folks.
I know your pain. All day.
What happens in the pre-conversation stays in the pre-conversation.
I don't believe that's true.
Apparently not.
Yeah, no, it's been brought to the surface. I was gonna say
pressure?
under the surface. There's a earlier something you said triggered Encanto in my mind. Oh, the drip that would never stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
don't talk
that's what I-
about Bruno. No. Okay. So I do get
So
my nerd card
we've
back.
had many copyright things so far. Good morning.
Good
And
morning.
welcome to the show.
Welcome
Good
to the rest of
morning.
the
Welcome to the podcast. Arr.
There might be some salty language in this one, folks, just so that we're aware up front. Disclaimer, whatever you need. Like, there could be some F-bombs.
But it'll be sea salty. Arr.
I'm telling you, today has just been, and it's only 9:00 in the morning. So good morning and welcome to Across the Desk. We are the Riff Raff team, Riff Raff crew. We're just a bunch of weirdos. So we'll do quickie introductions. Senora?
Maddie.
It's my favorite.
Maddie. Boop, here.
Paul.
Paul.
Sydney.
There we go.
Roll call.
And come on.
Lizzie!
Yay! All right.
Lizzie,
introductions
go
done.
busy, banana, fana, fo fizzy.
Hey, 5 for Fizzy. Go Lizzie.
I thought you didn't like Lizzie.
I do not like Lizzie.
I was just like,
That's why I attacked it.
Polly, Wally,
Get it.
Bobali, Banana, Fana, Folly, me, my, Molly, Polly.
Who also might be wearing the same shirt, though we assume washed. So
looks new to me.
I bought a shirt. It's upstairs, but then I had a thing in the house and I got annoyed and I changed my outfit. And so I'm gonna, we've discovered, tell me.
This is a new shirt, but it's tighter on me the second time.
Huh?
This is a new shirt. This is the only second time I've worn this shirt, but it's feeling
Well, that's what the other shirt was
Shrinkage.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shrinkage.
Shrinkage. Stupid
Mhm,
shrinkage.
exactly.
Not growage. Which is, traditionally how things stop fitting, especially for me. So we actually have a topic for today. Before you think we're just going to be lunatics the whole time. Are we doing proper introductions, or was that it? Are we like romper
That
bumper
was it.
romper do? That's good.
I think that's it for now.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Uh-huh.
We're good. All right, we nailed it. Well, yeah. So our Mad crew got together, and a couple of years ago, Maddie and I started talking about the fact that there wasn't a safe space for folks who are neurodivergent to gather and like learn professionally or learn socially or connect or like whatever it is. And either they were unmoderated or they were juvenile or like there was a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't great. And so then we got together with these other mad folks and went, hey, like, we have an idea. What do you think? And they're just insane enough that they went, that sounds great. Let's do that.
I'm in.
I mean, crazy idea?
Yeah.
Nailed
All
it.
right, hands in, everybody.
Woo! Go Nimble
Only.
We just cheerleaded, I think. So we run a not-for-profit called Nimble ND. And the focus of that is to provide social and employment-focused opportunities for neurodivergent adults who are 18 plus, independent, and just ako-tako enough that traditional social setups can provide some great social anxiety and some fantastic worry and angst. And so we offer board games night and we offer job lab. Actually, last night, woohoo, we just launched our second D&D group. And everything that we do is neurodivergent led, neurodivergent driven. So
You should call it D''ND.
I will suggest that to Jacob, who was
There
our
you go.
dungeon master. You're not wrong.
Isn't it already?
I think it's implied.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Everybody in the room for this current D&D group is ADHD, she says. Likely
So they need their own navigation system. That was the thing Paul said this morning. It was in our chat. It was great.
Tell you, my brain is not firing on all six.
How much coffee have you had, Maddie? I say lovingly.
This much.
Can't see it, so it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It's
That's appropriate.
So you need to get it in there, sunshine. So the other thing that we came up with is called Nimble ND Connect, and I'm really proud of it. We launched in January. I think we're all really proud of it. Like, it's going interestingly, and so we just did one on July 27th, and then we've got another one coming up August 31st. And so right now, a member of the team runs it, but we are absolutely open to folks going, hey, I have an idea. So, get in touch. But the ever-loving Sydney Elaine Butler, if we're going to be, is there any other names in there, Sydney, or is it just the two?
For now, it's just those two.
Okay, if I disclose, will you disclose?
Seb for short.
Seb. Makes her sound like a Mennonite.
Seb.
Get to the barn. Get them horses out.
We got a connect to get to.
we gotta get on the connecting now. Sorry, that was probably socially inappropriate.
Okay, how much coffee have you had, Elizabeth?
I know you do. She's
Well,
like,
before
I told you
or
people.
before or after the dancing?
Don't be surprised when at 10 o'clock, I have a meeting.
No dancing this time?
No, I don't have time to dance.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Okay, Google, set alarm for 9:58.
Dance alarm for 9:58. Okay, fair. Like, we have to. So I'm Elizabeth Ann Isabella. That's why I'm asking if anybody else wants to share their middles. I'm very regal. So our topic for July was disability pride. If you're anything like me, the first thing you said was, oh, it's a special pride for people who are disabled. So it's LGBT, it's intersectional. And Sydney just went, no.
Me and Maddie went.
Exactly. We were like,
I had backup.
Exactly.
Back up in the head shaking.
It was the disappointed look more than anything.
Oh,
Like,
wow. Way to be
it's
inclusive.
not the first time we've talked about this. I think you and I did a podcast on disability pride about 3 years ago.
I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
I know.
Come on now.
I know.
Gotta be
I know.
inclusive, Maddie.
Now that
Right.
now that you've hit 30, right? I understand. Because you said that memory is the first thing that goes, right?
Here's what I say about aging is that no matter what age I am, my boobs are always 12 years younger.
Why does it always come back to boobs?
I don't know.
Right? See?
Right.
See? It's not just me.
This is proof.
No, I came into this world with everything else intact, and then
Okay.
things happened.
So
So
boob counter.
And your nipples
in
are
the corner here.
don't
the
use
same
that
age
word.
as you.
Are we gonna get anything done today, folks?
No.
No.
Paul's using
What-
bad
what word?
language. Okay.
Nipple?
Stop it.
Nipple,
Free.
nipple, bull, bipple, banana.
Vocal stim today, if you can't tell.
So just for everybody's
gosh.
information, in case you haven't caught on, every single if you're watching, every single person you can see, and if you're listening, every single person you can hear, some of the letters after their name are ADHD.
Yeah. Yes, and it's interesting to note that we're at the point in the week that we're in the middle of WTF.
Oh,
Yes.
true.
Yes.
The light bulb just ping.
Maybe we should switch the day we do podcasts. Is what I'm gathering. We're always in the middle.
Change it to WTF. I mean, that could anyway. So yeah, every single person on here, definitely ADHD. Every single person on here either has somebody else in their life who has multiple letters after their name or has multiple letters after their name. Some of us are in denial about the other letters after our name. That's okay.
What do you mean, Elizabeth?
I mean nothing. Paul.
What are you trying to
Why do you
say?
think it's you?
Could be me.
So when we have these moments, this is, and team meetings can go this way as well, just so we're clear. We have team meetings every Monday morning. This can
Okay,
happen.
we have show and tell at our team meetings. That's how bad it is.
No. So no, I'm going to challenge that one. I know we're going to we have to get to Sydney because we don't want to lose her before they share their important stuff. Sorry, I'm she-theying right now.
That's fine.
Yeah. Dip it. So we had Disability Pride in July for our Nimble ND Connect event that's online. And it's done that way intentionally so that it can be inclusive to all Canadians and everybody can engage in the way that they feel comfortable and safe. So if folks want to have their camera off and their mic off and just use the chat, that is 100% okay. If you want to be full camera, full mic, 100% okay. Like, we always encourage folks to show up however they feel most comfortable. And then what we're noticing is that the more folks come back, their engagement changes. And that's our whole thing. We want to make sure that you progress at your pace, your level, your whatever you need. So Sydney, I'm actually going to probably mute myself. I have the notes up from the I have the notes up from the event. Can I invite you to dive in to what you were chatting about?
I feel like I'm gonna do a high overview, not and then we can go into the details if that sounds okay.
Well, I know it's not
No.
420, but go ahead.
Yes, so like Elizabeth was saying, so last month, July is Disability Pride Month, and so in last week at Nimble, I talked about again a bit about who Nimble is, and then also talking more about disability pride and just being proud to be disabled and how it can be hard to be disabled, but we can also still be proud of our identity, and how Disability Pride Month was actually in response and originated in 1990 to commemorate with the Americans with Disabilities Act. And then I talked about how there is a disability flag and what that kind of represents, and how there was a previous flag that actually, ironically, could sometimes cause seizures in our community, and because it was very jagged and very disorientating. And so now there's a new flag that came out. And then I talked about reclaiming our narrative of having disability and really having unapologetic disability and being proud of our disability identity, and kind of really seeing and rewriting our stories and that radical self-acceptance, and briefly talked about the medical model and the social model. So the medical model is seeing someone with a disability in that that the problem is the person with the disability. Meanwhile, with the social model that we're moving towards is other models, but I didn't get quite into that yet. But the social model that we're now looking at is that the barriers in society are the problem.
100%.
And then I also talked about the intersectional reality of masking and safety, especially some disabilities you can't tell just by looking at someone, like, being neurodivergent, or again, I also live with fibromyalgia. And so unless I have my cane, you can't tell. And so what does that actually look like in the cost of masking? And what does it actually mean to create spaces where you can unmask and feel like you can such a mask? And also the side effects of masking. When you've been masking for so long, you sometimes you don't even realize that you're masking different things in different situations, but you can feel the impacts of masking but not realize that you were masking. And then also the importance of community care. So, like we created with Nimble. I cited how having all of you here today and being in community with you all is so important, and we want to be in community with you, and we want you to be in our community. And what does that really look like, and how really sustaining ourselves and really creating safe networks that people can come to and feel supported. And then last but not least, I talked about navigating professional spaces. So what does it look like when it comes to boundaries, advocating for yourself and honoring your needs in a system that wasn't designed for us in mind?
So I had a bunch of different questions, but my one thought is, so Sydney presents in a variety of arenas, right? So present smaller groups, you present to bigger groups, you present through podcasts and what have you. And so when I was growing a previous group, one thing I found was the more I talked about it, like little nuggets would come up for me. Do you find that, including presenting with Nimble ND, that the more you talk about these topics, like you have those moments of, oh, maybe.
I think so. And I think, or it's like, it's kind of like building on existing knowledge and having an open mind to hear other people's perspectives. Because like I have my perspective, I have my lived experience, but I love when I can also learn from other people's lived experience. And sometimes it can, and really just having that discussion, having multiple viewpoints to look at something. And I think that's where the real gold nuggets come from.
What about when from my experience that night, we had a very engaged group, and we had somebody new that came out who had some real social anxiety. Like I went back and forth with a parent around this individual joining, and then they were one of the most prolific sharers. So do you find when you share your story or these topics, your information on these stories, that you then are the recipient of some pretty cool stories?
Yes. And that's, I think that's, the people call themselves trainers, because, and I do train organizations, and and then even in Plymouth, we trained our participants, but we also learned so much from them and heard their stories. And that, I think that's why it said facilitator, because you're facilitating conversations. It's not a one-way street. It's give and take and transfer of knowledge and sharing of stories that make, I think if more people took the chance to really listen to people's stories and to give them the space to when you share your story. And when I share my story, I don't just say it to say my story. I want to hear other people's stories. Right. And so I think that's what's so beautiful about Nimble and D is that we, again, because we're the ones leading it, so we start off with doing these presentations, but we learn so much from the individuals, and we hope they can, when they feel comfortable, they can now present what they want to present about. Right. And so I think it's all about creating that safety and creating representation matters. And I think that, and with disability pride and all these different things, is crucial, especially in this time.
I'm taking notes at the same time. So if anybody else wants to, I hear Maddie did a.
And I was trying to be so good about not doing that.
No, I'm glad you did it, because that tells me I can
okay. I do a lot of public speaking, and my favorite part of it is, I enjoy the questions and answer part, but it's once I'm done and and I'm off stage and I'm talking with people who've who've connected with what I've said, and I'm hearing their stories, their challenges, their experiences, because that's what um, I think that's what drives me. Um, is it's not the feedback, but it's the collectiveness of our stories, because their stories either affirm what I'm saying or grow what I'm saying. And the other thing I'm involved with a lot is the Echo Autism program, which we basically it's a team of experts, which includes statistics and family members, facilitating discussion and learning with physicians, psychologists, educators. But the thing we call it is it's all teach, all learn. We learn from the participants because the participants are as active as we are. We may lead it, and we may share knowledge, and we may share some of our clinical and experiences, but it's the community that's learned. I think learning teaches, right? I don't think learning is a one-way street. If learning is a one-way street, I don't think it's as rich. I think when learning is a two-way street, where the learning, where the they who are teaching also learns from the students who are being taught. Yeah, so Nimble and I have the same experience with Nimble and D when I presented. It's so much the community period after the talking that I enjoy most.
And when it's one of the things you, so I yes and but do stories, so yes, stories, we can grow with them, yes, stories, we can have aha moments, but can other folks' stories also challenge what we think or believe?
Yeah.
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 And that's what I love about it. I love the inadvertent, not prove me wrong, but make me think. Yeah. Like Paul, you're also a storyteller. Like everybody on here, by the way, is either a speaker, facilitator, has been involved in either developing learning or delivering learning or something in some capacity. Every single one. I've been an instructor and developed learning and been a facilitator. Maddie and Sydney, same thing. And Paul develops experiential e-learnings and facilitates courses and things like that. So Paul, have you found that like you've gone in with a certain maybe expectation of knowledge and somebody's challenged you to think differently with their story?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I think back to when we do a specific one called Train the Trainer. So we have, we're supposed to be teaching people how to be better trainers, but often because the course is all taken by trainers, we learn all the time from them. And so we get to hear other perspectives and things like that. And it just, I was thinking about, what you were saying before, and it's kind of like you wouldn't go to college to learn accounting from a chef, right? You'd want to be taught by an accountant with real life experience or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be, there has to be credibility there. And that's one of the things I love about our 4 by and 4, right? That it's not just us going off and studying things about life, it's life experience.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I'm starting to hear from folks. Sydney shared the other day that, folks are now listening and they feel seen and they feel heard and that is huge for me.
With getting involved with this, being late diagnosed, it's meant the world to me. Like I learn things all the time, whether it's learning things when we're talking about, tools for coping with ADHD things or autistic things.
or mental health
rigidity or whatever it is, or mental health things. Yeah. If I've learned things that I've been able to apply in my own life, but for when we're talking about disability pride now, I'm learning more about things that don't affect me, but I can have an effect by making simple changes or seeing things from a different point of view, right? So always learning. It's great.
Great. It's great.
It's great.
It's great. Love it. Love it.
Would
It's
recommend.
great. It's great to
I
learn
just-
these things.
You need to mainline that coffee.
I'm ensuring that I've been really good about being very sparse about it.
Your coffee intake or your pod?
That was awesome. Oh, so we sometimes
And my answer
have,
to that is yes.
Yes. we have an imaginary track board for every time Maddie tries to pun, and sometimes successfully. And so everybody will give them but that was like a mic drop, burn, whatever, like all in one. And Sydney holds those back, just so we're clear. That's not the go-to for them. So that's well done. That was chef's kiss.
Hold on a second. I've got to.
Oh yeah.
I gotta wipe the scorch marks off my screen.
But all done. This is what, like Paul just said,
Done in love.
done in love, and
Mm-hmm.
we now. Maddie just. But we all now know each other in a way, like our sense of humors are very different, and when we're in a neurotypical situation, it can be challenging to remember that the audience might not receive the comment or the who here from an ADHD lens perspective notices weird little details that you've discovered most other people miss.
You
What
What?
you do that.
I do what?
That you said.
Oh. I was like, sorry, I didn't know where that was going. Am I the only one?
No, I did.
No.
No, I noticed them
I
too.
think you're the most verbal about it.
I am.
Yes.
You're 100% right. Yeah, no, not offended by that at all, by the way. But that's where I figure everybody else sees it. Like, doesn't everybody else see it? But maybe the filter aspect is that other people don't say it. But then, go ahead.
Like, sadly, Paul wasn't at the Canadian Autism Leadership Summit. Hopefully next year, fingers crossed. But the rest of us, me, Maddie, and Elizabeth were there. And I think we saw little details. Yes, the Leadership Summit. And we would look at each other or text each other in our chat when we would see the little details, which was nice. And then Paul got to, like, Paul wasn't there, but Paul was still in one of some of the chats and saw some of the nonsense. But it just, like, the amount of time I would look across the room, like, seeing a little detail, but knowing Maddie would see it too, because I think you had a room or something, Elizabeth. But I know Maddie would see the little detail too, and it was so nice. Just like, okay, Maddie saw the little detail too, you know?
Yeah, there was a point that the table I was at had had 4 or 5 other autistics, and we weren't talking with each other, but we were all like seeing the same things and like what it was like, and we were communicating with each other through the text, but it was like each one of us was reacting in a very similar fashion to the shenanigans around us, and many of the neurotypicals were all like
Oblivious.
I know one of the things that, growing up, I don't know how many times I was told that I wasn't observant, that, because I missed the common sense stuff, but I would see everything else, like 90%.
All the shit that doesn't matter, we're like locked in.
Well, actually, no, all the shit that does matter, but it's not being dealt with. And the 10% that I miss is the stuff that the other
That's what I
90% of the
mean.
world. I know it's like we were looking at the world with two completely different. It's like a parallel universe that every once in a while it would connect.
Yeah. And I got in trouble for that all the time. Like, how kind of fly over my head. Paul and I've shared this story before,
That's a
but
metaphor.
Paul and I were at an event. It is noisy as heck. We're talking to people, like there's machines going on and da 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 da. And all I can hear is click, click, click. And I'm like, where's that sound coming from? And everybody's looking at me like I've lost my ever loving mind. And I'm like, there is a click, click noise somewhere. And if I don't find it, somebody's going to get a neck snapped. And I turn and it is Mr. Coleman. Mr. Coleman with a, what do you call those things? Sensory doodad in his pocket. It's in his pocket 5 feet away from me. And I can hear this click, click noise above thousands of people in the space, machinery.
It's like the Princess and the Pea, except the P is the clicker.
But nobody else was, and they're all thinking I'm insane. And so why I'm sharing that, keeping an eye on time, is that, Sydney, when we look at disability pride, I think one of the things we've discussed is that each of us growing up had either a sensory thing or a sense thing that kind of made us outliers, right? Like,
God, yeah.
when we didn't know what we didn't know about why the world affected us the way it did, we ended up inadvertently getting shamed. At least I did, shamed and judged, much like today. That's fine. I'm just putting it out there, but much like today. So how do we share our stories and help people take that back? That hearing those little noises, or like whatever it is. So like, Maddie, would you be okay sharing what you deal with on a daily basis?
Sure.
Just to give context for folks.
Okay. I mean, from the physical side or from the sensory side?
Hey, friend, you can choose whatever you want.
So, okay. I, as a kid, anytime there was a fire drill, I would be absolutely in utter panic and pain for the next week or so, hiding under desks, having my hands over my ears all the time, because the sound was so disruptive to me that the fear of it happening again also blocked me. But I was aware, and still am, of every single light and electrical socket and things. I mean, there were times where I could hear radio signals. I could tell. Back in the day when we had touch tone phones, I could hear the phone ringing before the first thing, before it would go on. Right? I would say the phone's ringing, and it's not, ring, and people were like, "What the hell?" My sensitivity to sound was so different than most people. Now, when my sister let me try her AirPod Pros 6 years ago, and I put them in, and all of a sudden, the lack of the sounds, I'm like, holy shit! I've been dealing with this all my life, and I didn't know, because the lack of it was amazing.
Okay. I'm going to pause for just one quick second, because I know both Sydney and Paul also use earpods and earphones. And I'm wondering, late discovered, thank you for sharing that, Maddie. There is more to Maddie's story, and they're going to continue, but I just want to pull folks in on this one. When earphones became affordable and accessible and transportable, because back in the day, people of a certain vintage will know that you had great big earphones and they had to be plugged into something, and it was not super fun. Have you found that the advent of earpods or earphones or whatever has helped with what you may not have been aware of as a sensory issue? And that's for Paul or Sydney.
Especially when I'm walking out and about, my sunglasses and my headphones, especially together, help so much. That, like, And even like, because obviously my headphones is to like I listen to things, I listen to music, but even like if I don't have music, and I remember I had headphones like this, but
Mhm.
they were always so it actually caused back in the day, like when I was like in my early teens, I want to say, um, and they were so they hurt. They were so like thick and like it was like they were painful, and so it was just like, but it really helped with the sound. But I was like, I can't. It was hurting my head, so I was like, I can't. It's not a good trade off. And then during 2020, um, when I met my partner, he had headphones like this, and I was just like, huh. And he's like, they're really comfortable. La la la. Try them on, and I was like, oh, I like these.
And he
And
never
also,
got him back.
no, instantly. And then, so then he bought me a pair, um, and then they actually fell apart. And a couple of years later, and then he got me this pair that I'm using now. And so, and these like they're soft, and it does help a lot, and it took a while to get there, and so that's why I shared like the context of what happened in the past to leading up to, like sometimes it's trial and error when it comes to your sensory aids or even just broadly talk about disability, your mobility aids or sensory aids, knowing what works for you, knowing what you need in the different environments.
And I'm wondering, Paul, opinions?
Being late diagnosed,
That was a big sigh.
well, it's really interesting because I never realized how exhausting ambient noise is until I got headphones that have active noise canceling. So I use them when I'm working, and that I don't wear them around, but I think that's a me thing.
It's become normalized though. Now that society, you see so many folks with ear pods in, or the stigma of it being an aid is gone. It's now a normal societal thing for people to have those things in.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about wearing them more because if I forget and have the noise canceling off and I just have it on ambient and I'm working and then I remember and turn it on, it's literally like a
wow.
Yeah, it literally just makes me go, oh, that was great. Like, wow, like everything is just quiet. and it doesn't I've never realized until recently how much that affects me.
Interesting.
And I don't know if it's also getting older. Like I don't go to Chuck's anyway, but there's a Chuck's near my house that has.
What is Chuck's?
It's a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chuck's Roadhouse.
Chuck's Roadhouse or whatever.
Oh, amazing.
They have all aluminum chairs and tile floor.
Oh.
And so, they're not aluminum, sorry, they're like cast iron. So they're really heavy and they go, and one person can scratch the chair along the floor on the other side of the restaurant and it's loud. So you get like 300 people in a restaurant and they're all moving and oh my gosh. I
would sooner chew off
we had to
my
leave.
hand. We had to
leave. And that's the first time, like that was one of the first times that I realized how affected I am by noise. And it's funny, I think back to growing up, my mom would go off if somebody was rattling their keys in their pocket or their change in their pocket.
Now, I know you're a Santa. Oh, keep going.
No, it's okay. I was just going to remember the funniest thing is one of the elders of our church was in the choir behind her rattling his keys and practice, and she turned around and said, I am going to sew your pockets shut if you don't stop that.
I would have sewn something else shut, but they would have got the message. You're going to die, and we're in the right place for me to do that.
So
anyway, I know you're a Santa. but one of my
Mhm.
the challenges I have every December is going into the Walmarts and the whatevers when they have a Salvation Army Santa ring ching 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 the bell to try to get people to come and drop money in their thing. The sound is so disorienting and frustrating me that like a few years ago I actually had a complete meltdown and a moment I couldn't leave, I couldn't move. Until finally staff found me and I told them, so they got the jingling to stop, but my brain kept hearing it because it was just ever present. I it it it's I have a lot of anxiety just thinking back to it.
Yeah.
But
Take yourself out of your body with
there's
that one.
yeah, there's so many, like I experience all kinds of sensory challenges, but the things that help me the most and the things that absolutely do me in are related to sound.
Sound
But
and
what's
scent.
interesting,
Oh yeah, well yeah, scent can kill me.
Literally. Not in a
Yeah,
good way.
yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
no, just going back to the clicking, I always find it interesting that what was helping me deal with all of the chaos and centering me and helping me calm down was executing you.
But here's the thing. But
Yeah.
once I know what it's for me, one, I have to thank Maddie because I used to be able to hear the song on the radio before I turned it on. And I used to be able to hear the phone ringing before it rang. And I didn't know anybody else could do that. And my mother thought I was a witch.
Well,
Not wrong. But
A woman in total control of herself.
There's tinfoil for that.
mental health.
mental health
nearly spewed
sensory.
my water on the screen. I had to quickly put my hand up to keep it in.
Let it fly, baby. Let it fly. But I never, this is what I love about our conversations. And Maddie and I have pressed record so many times because we'll start discussing things. And I grew up, somebody joked the other day that I always end up crying on a podcast. And they're not wrong. But when you've grown up your entire life being made to feel other and being made to feel weird and I don't present like I don't have a mohawk, and I mean I'm now covered in adult stickers, but I didn't have any of that would be a traditional what? My
I've
adult
never heard it
stickers.
called that way. I've never heard it called that way, but I'm going to tell Madeline that, and I think she's going to laugh her head off.
Oh yeah, these are my adult stickers.
Yeah.
I have tattoos, just in case anybody's wondering what an adult sticker is.
Yeah, they're like,
I know, for context. Sydney also has adult stickers.
I do.
Paul has a beautiful Highland Coo on his calf. It's a big piece and it's beautiful. Paul's also 6'2".
And I have an empty canvas.
You are an empty, but hey, next leadership summit, I believe Sydney and I might have some options for you, and we'll figure that out. I'm just putting it out there. But when you're able to hear the phone ring before it rings, when you're able to hear the song on the radio before it comes on, you just think everybody can do that. Right? And that clicking noise, once I knew what it was for, I was good. It's not being, if I can't place it and I don't know what it is and I don't know where it's coming from, it's like a mosquito and somebody's going to die. And my reaction is that big. What are you shaking your head at?
I call baloney.
You can call baloney all you want. I'm better.
That same conference, do you know how many times you turned to me and said, "Stop that clicking"?
You've done that on several occasions, like before and after the conference. Like it's. I think you're thinking that you can deal with it. is I think a little bit maybe.
It depends on the noise. It depends on the noise. What Paul was doing at the recent CAM AGM, it was look at him. Don't get it out. Don't you dare. He's gonna
do it.
I'm gonna kill you, Dad.
Now that she knows that what it's for, she can totally deal with it and accept it.
Right?
Yeah, but now it's being done on purpose, and that's just rude. Anyway, so what we're saying is Elizabeth's not entirely in touch with her sensory issue. And that's fine. Swear to God. You gonna get it. So apparently there's some noises that even I can't wrap my head around. But now that I know other folks, and I don't wish it on anybody, but now that I know other folks have similar reactions, in all seriousness, I don't feel so bad. I used to shame myself a lot, and I used to get down on myself a lot because, like, why was I being so whatever? Or when I would ask other people if they experienced the same thing, like the looks and the whatever that I would get would make me not ask anymore.
Yep.
And so then I just dealt with it, and it would come out
Escape
in
from
other
Witch Mountain.
ways. Or... Sorry, Maddie?
We're all from characters from Escape from Witch Mountain.
Was it Escape to Witch Mountain or from Witch Mountain?
But you know what? I think there's both, depending on whether it's the
Could be.
old or the new.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're movie nerds, by the way. And like weird
If you
references.
can't
Disney movie nerds, especially.
Hakuna Matata. Like,
That's
we
the
go
second
again.
time she's talked about Tatas.
oh, wow.
What would happen if you made a blog post about this one?
What's happening? It's happening. And I'm going to get an AI generated big set of knockers.
3.
3.
But they come in
Elizabeth
pairs, so
Warren-
wait for number 4.
Maddie's about puns. Elizabeth's now moved from HR violations to boobs,
Which are
Here
still
comes-
technically HR violations.
Which is it's a natural progression.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, that could be a whole nother
But
disability.
14 years younger than
12.
12. Okay, sorry.
I started early.
Gotta clarify.
Technically I was 10, but that's a whole nother conversation. So out of all of these notes, before we lose our lovely Sydney, so we might wrap up the conversation. We'll see how it goes. What would you say, Sydney, out of that event, from your perspective, because it was your information that you were putting out
Yes.
there? What would you say was, out of the conversation that happened with folks after, was a bit of either an aha or a confirmation or a, oh, I should learn more about that, or like whatever?
I was gonna be facetious and say what my friend sent me in that Paul's a part-time salmon. That's what I learned. No, what I learned
It's
is
a
that
spelling mistake in the chat.
it was just the sometimes the captions don't understand correctly. That's what that means. But I think what I took away is that I know it's shame, but I think through because we were, like you were saying, Elizabeth, it was so engaged. I think just if you give people the space to share stories and people, you create spaces. Like I talked about the importance of community care, and then we saw it happen in live time, which is really cool. And how people it seemed like they were saying things for the first time or kind of hesitant to say things, but they felt now after my presentation felt like they could say it and say parts of their story, and other people either agreed and resonated with that or started saying other things that they experienced. And I think that's really cool. And I know we talked about it at the beginning, but I think that was a huge takeaway for me of just how can we create more spaces and create more opportunities for people to share themselves, because clearly they want to, right? But it's like but like you were saying, like the shame or the judgment, and so they keep it buried for so long. But we all have a story to share. We all have stories to share, and so how are we really allowing people to share what they feel comfortable sharing in real ways?
It can become confirmation through community, right? Like once somebody's been brave enough. I'm if you haven't noticed, I like to talk. since I was like I know, shocker, right? Out of the womb chatter person, because I process auditorially. It's one of my better ways for me to process and engage with information. And so the more I talk it through, the more I learn from it. And I feel like what we do with the podcast and what we do with Nimble allows that facilitation for other folk who may process better that way as well. That's one of the reasons I think there's nothing off the table for me to share about if it'll help somebody else.
Your clock thing didn't go off.
It did.
Yeah.
It did, and
It did.
it was a doon do 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 do. I did it 3 times, and I muted it because it was annoying.
10 a.m.
I can quickly do it and go.
And stretch. Let's take a
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
And now I have to go. Bye, everyone.
Ah!
Bye, Sydney.
Oh, you know what? It's not
It's
complete if we don't get a
tradition.
dance moment.
Exactly.
What's that?
I said it's tradition.
Tradition. Okay. So to wrap up, Paul, you made an interesting point, and I really appreciate the fact that you've brought this up a couple of times over various podcasts. That, like, when you and I met in 2019, you had experience with mental health issues and neurodivergence because you've got 4 kids who are all experiencing, you know, yourself and you. Would you say that having the opportunity to engage with a community that had different language has helped you with what you've already lived with, but perhaps didn't have the words for yet?
Oh, yeah.
For those of you that didn't catch that, that was a yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you be comfortable sharing a bit more, or you feel like that's good enough?
I think that was the share.
Yeah, it's
If I'm on the spotting
It's
you,
just
you
take-
can say pass.
no, it's okay. You know, if you walked around with a sliver in your foot and it always hurt to walk, and you just felt like, okay, that's just the way life is, you know, life was given to me. And then as an adult, when you've been living with this thing in your foot for 40 years, 50 years, and all of a sudden somebody goes, well, we can minimize, because you can't remove it, but like there's, in this case, you know, we can remove that and at least remove the pain it's causing you.
That's a really good analogy.
It's a huge relief, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to always be thinking, you know, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? And just really degrading yourself for years over things that just are part of your makeup. And here's why. And you're not alone. And hey, there are some coping mechanisms, and there are some things you can do to mitigate that.
Do you find?
But the most important thing is, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just being told it's okay.
A lot of neurotypicals are asking, why is everybody, you know, trying to get this diagnosis? Like, why is it important now? What is it going to give you? And the thing the thing it gives us is the ability to heal our past, because we know now, we have words to put to explain the challenges we had before. And it also gives us a sense of identity, because we know that there's others that have been going through different things. But it also gives us peace to move forward, because we now know who we are and and we're learning what can help us, where we didn't have any of that before, and we bumbled through life and never understood why we felt different, and felt, and the shame goes away, the misplaced shame.
Lessons. Yeah, it lessens 100%. And I still have moments. Like I do much better now. If you think you think I'm trouble now. It took me a very long time. It took me a very long time to figure out. I knew I was the problem. That much was clear. But nobody would ever tell me what the problem. Well, you just need to be quiet. Okay, well, you just need to grow taller. Like, like, okay, like, thanks. That's helpful. For some folks who are neurodivergent, specifically ADHD, and that's the only lived experience I can go to, right? Like my son is autistic, dyslexic, and ADHD, but I can't tell you what a day in his life is like his sensory experiences. I can tell you some of them because I have to force him to clean up his room. But like my husband's dyslexic. My daughter's also ADHD, but the way she experiences ADHD is way different than the way I do. So I can only speak to my lens. And I need very direct instructions on certain things. If you hem and haw and give me euphemisms and whatever, I'm a very direct communicator and I'm a very direct processor. Unlikely that you will hurt my feelings, FYI. And not that I don't have them, but if I've done something wrong or you're honestly just correcting me out of trying to be helpful, I'm like, oh, thanks for that. Like, I appreciate that. I'm going to try and do better. And it wasn't until like 10, 11 years ago that somebody said to me very directly, your energy is very overwhelming. Like you need to tamp it down a bit. Because in certain situations, like I had been given a really cool Funko Pop and it appeals to the kid in me. And it just actually hit me. I had a conversation with somebody a while ago, and I have never understood why I have been so attracted to Funko Pops and action figures and like those types of things. And then I was talking to them and they reminded me that I lost everything when I was 16. All my toys, all my mementos, all my childhood stuff was wiped out in a house fire. And I basically have been rebuilding that ever since. And it's taken me 40 years to figure out that that's what I've been doing. But because I'm a 56-year-old white female who collects Funko Pops, if I'm not with the right group when I share that, the shaming looks I get from women, by the way, who are in full theatrical makeup, skin tight leather pants, and whatever else at 60 something years old. And I'm like, would you like to be the pot or the kettle in this situation around age expectations and things you should be doing? How about you go shame somebody else?
It's pot's probably the next thing for them on their list.
It probably should be. I know it is for me after talking to them. But that's a whole other conversation. So, Maddie, one of the other things that you and Paul share is that you're both helping kids navigate through. I mean, I do too, but how would you say your personal experience helps you better understand and helps your kids not to fall into shame, but feel pride about how they see the world and what have you?
I think demonstrating my attitude helps. I also have I'm extremely non-judgmental about everything they do and everything they go through, which I think opens them to be able to have conversations when I see them blaming themselves for this or that. It's Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the way I go through life and the experiences I have. I'm very out and proud autistic. And I make space for my sensory needs. And so they can too.
So do you find by setting an example of how you not advocate, but it is a form of advocating and understanding what you need, do your
Yeah.
kids see that?
Yeah, and whenever we go on any kind of activity, one of the first things I do is I think through, if they're challenged, where can they go? And I let them know that. So they have the option of coming with me, but they know if they come with me, I have made a space for them, and if it's too much, they know that they can tell me that, and we can go. Um, I don't invite them into anything that might have a challenge that we can't overcome.
Okay, I love that. Senor Coleman?
Well, being late diagnosed, has given me the opportunity to see see my children in a different light now. And there's some shame now, because like I remember, my daughter struggling going to a restaurant because she was always the last one to order because she could never decide, because you were given too many options and she couldn't make a decision. And it would drive my parents insane. And, we'd all be like, come on. And now looking back and going,
Crap.
I get it. I understand. That wasn't just her being difficult. It was, she was overwhelmed. She was, that's something that's a struggle for her. And it still is to this day. But now it's like, okay, we're going to go. What do you feel like? Do you feel like something or that? And then we'll direct her to like, okay, maybe we just focus on this portion of the menu. If you feel like a sandwich, or if you like, you know what I mean? Like, we'll help her. Or if she's just overwhelmed and can't decide, and she literally says, just decide for me, we will. We'll pick something we know she likes, and, and it's not a big deal to us anymore. And so I think back to when she was little, and it
bothers you.
There's shame. Yeah, it bothers me. Because we added to her anxiety, didn't help. So, there's adding to what you were saying about everybody wants to go get diagnosis now. Well, there's a good reason to, because you won't end up shaming your kids for something that really is a problem and has logical solutions. And once you can put something to it, it's not them being difficult. It's part of what they're dealing with.
Yeah. I had that with my mother-in-law, who still to this day has made no effort whatsoever. Namaste. I haven't spoken to her in almost 8 years. It's been great. But made no effort to understand hey, you know what? Just because there's somebody's family doesn't mean they have to be your family. And my kids and my husband have whatever relationship they want with her. I would not get in the way of that. But she never made any effort to understand Thomas. She never gave him any grace. She never tried to engage with him in the way that he needed. Paul?
I was wondering how long it was going to take you before it got too much. I was
trying to do it quietly.
I know. And
quietly.
Okay, so yeah, Paul, we've had this discussion before. Your room echoes. Your microphone picks up everything. However, I've
never punched a Santa in the face, but I swear.
I've switched.
Thank you. Love you. Appreciate you.
A light switch is also a clicker.
Don't start me.
Well, I know.
So we were out one day. My son was 3.5. It was a hot day, and we had to wait a long time for food and whatever. And he was way past nap time. And because my son had very severe allergies, his immune system just made him exhausted all the time. So he might have been like, because he was resolved by 3.5. So he was about 2.5, 3. And if he needed a nap, he needed a nap. And that's just the way it is. And my mother-in-law turns and says, can you make him stop being bad? Oh, there
In-laws,
was
eh?
some.
In-laws.
And I went, okay. First, I helped Thomas get settled as best we could. And I turned around and I'm like, don't you ever use that word again at my kids. They are not bad. They are dealing with a bunch of crap. He is tired. He is hot. He is hungry. He is past nap time. This is not optimal solution for him. And we are forcing him into our agenda. So there's going to be consequences for that, and not on him, because he doesn't have the emotional regulation that somebody your age should have to be able to handle the situation. So we never ever called our kids for any kind of behavior bad. We'd ask about their choice. Is that a good choice? What could we have done differently? Yada, yada, yada. But we did stuff as well before we knew Thomas was autistic that I struggle with, but I didn't know what I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff I did that I still get a little bit of flack for was being really tough on him. But I also know for some autistics that is required. Otherwise, stuff can go off the rails. Any of the stuff that we're talking about here, folks, we always want to make really clear is individual to our experience and our lived experience and what we were dealing with. Never would we ever tell you that what we have done is the way to do things. Because every time you engage with a kid and you try and raise them and whatever that's involved, it has to be with them and it has to be developed individual to them. My two kids were not raised the same because they're two completely different people. And the things that would work for Thomas wouldn't work for Vanessa and vice versa. The major thing, if I could give anybody a piece of advice, would be get to know your kid. Like we said at the beginning with all of our stories, learn from a lot of different people. I used Barbara Colarasso, Kids Are Worth It, and I used a whole bunch of different resources to hear their stories about what worked and to apply that to my game. We had an experimental mindset before we even knew what that was, because you can't. And I refused to raise my kids the way my parents raised me, which was there's one way to do this. You're not fitting into the way we want to parent, so you're the problem. And I refused to do that. So I absolutely made mistakes. I absolutely probably caused some issues, but I absolutely prevented my kid from sitting in the basement, not realizing his potential as well. So I think we all have to, our natural inclination is to focus on the things we did wrong. Mm-hmm. And so to end on a pride note, Maddie, what would you say you're most proud of yourself as a parent or an individual? Your call.
I'll tell you what that is. 2 weeks after,
what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. It's a great call and response. 2 weeks after my second youngest turned 18, she called me and said, "Hey, you know what you always say about who's the adult in the room? I realize that I'm the adult in the room now, and I can't rely on my mom to do everything for me. Can you please help?" And I'm like, oh, yeah, that was. And also seeing my oldest Madeline, how she's just grown. Like I think now that my kids are all adults, which is so weird, seeing them learn the things,
apply the things.
They apply the things that they struggled learning when they were younger. I am in awe of them and love them so much. But we also can have a different relationship now that they're adults, and I'm no longer.
You're also a NADPA.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. See, listening to Madeline,
Grandpa.
Yeah. Listening to her, parent her son and saying the things that I've said to her. It's like, yeah. And the good stuff, not the bad stuff.
As we've all said.
We
Stuff
all
like
said the bad stuff at times.
We've had
We
some
don't
moments.
always, exactly, yeah.
My kids don't say fuck by accident.
No, they say
Have to
fuck on
say it.
purpose.
They, at 3.5, we were in a I've told this story before, but we were in a doctor's office. Thomas was playing with some toys. I don't know what happened. He got frustrated and he stood up in front of a room of women at the doctor's office, and at the top of his little 3.5-year-old voice, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And I just went, "Eek!" and pulled him over. And I said, "You know what, buddy? Good for you. You used it appropriately because you were frustrated, and that's when you used that." I'm like, "But we're not going to say that again. And we're going to talk to Daddy about his language when we get home." It was not Daddy. That was the problem. So, but I'm not admitting in front of a room full of moms that I have the potty mouth. It's like, that's not happening.
Yeah, they didn't realize that you were Sailor Moon.
I am Sailor Moon's son. And so, Paul, what would you say as a parent from a proud perspective? Because you're also a grandpa.
I'm going to pass on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to pass on this one. Yeah. There are some, but I'm going to pass.
Okay. That's fair. I'm happy I didn't kill my kid. I'm proud of that. Because there were times. I'm proud that I was direct with my kids, but I'm proud that I helped them understand how they need to own their behavior. And I try to lead in my life with what's called a servant's heart. So what that means is I'm always trying to look out for community and how we can make things better for people, and like whatever that looks like. That doesn't mean I don't screw that up, but that's predominantly how I go through life. And I'm seeing that now with my kids. They might be absolute pains in the butts at home for certain things, but overall, I have managed to end up with 2 extremely kind adults whose first instinct is to help. How can I? And this, my son has one of the most giving hearts. If anybody calls and they're in trouble, he's the first one out the door to go and assist and do whatever's needed. And my daughter's the same way. She wants to do right by her friends. And like what you said, Maddie, now when one of her friends has a difficulty, she'll sometimes share with me what she said. And I'll just sit there nodding because it's exactly either what I've said to her or what she's overheard me say to somebody else or whatever it is. And I'm just like, what is her name? She-Ra? He-Man and Masters of the Universe. Is it She-Ra?
Yeah, She-Ra and the Princess of Power.
Yeah, Queen of Power. But I just, I feel like I misstepped in so many ways raising my kids because of my own overwhelm and my own not hear that. And my daughter once said to me, a lot of her friends' parents are divorced and they've had some issues and whatever. And she says, "Oh, I tell everybody I had a white picket upbringing. I had a white picket childhood." And that coming from a broken home and stuff that had gone on in my life, that's one of the things I'm really proud of, that, I may have done too good a job because they're still living at home. And quite frankly, they need
Stop feeding them cheese.
Right? Stop feeding them at all. Like, just maybe if they come home one day and all their shit's at the curb, they'll get the hint. I love them, don't get me wrong. And I'm thrilled that they're here actually because I had such a disjointed youth. But they're turning into giant human clickers.
And on that note.
Paul, you
and it
wrapping
is
up?
Princess of Power.
It is Princess of Power?
Yeah, it is Princess of Power, yeah.
It was because
I
it was
know, but-
Princess Adora.
Exactly.
And her alter ego
there is
was She-Ra.
yeah. Yeah, there is a queen still. So she's just a princess. But she's not
Who's the
just
queen?
a princess. Her mom.
Yeah, I don't remember her name.
I'm going to show you something before we wrap up. And I think I've shared it before. Hang on, as I knock my camera around. Okay. I can't be anything other than a queen, and this is why. Can you see it?
No, it keeps blurring itself. No.
Can you see it now?
I can see a robe, but I can't really see it.
Okay. So what it is my birth announcement. And it says Her Majesty the Queen. This was my mommy got me for these. We admit she's pretty clever and she's something to be seen. She knows her place already and she's taken it as queen. I mean, do I have a choice but to be who I am?
Well, I have the royal hair over here.
I don't know what that means, but we're going to wrap up on that.
Remember Harry?
Don't. Ooh, don't.
As you're touching your thumb. As you're touching
I
your
know.
thumb.
I'm like, anxiety.
Exactly.
Anxiety.
All right.
So, anyway, that's another story, folks. But thank you for joining us today. Nimble ND Connect happens once a month. NimbleND.ca is where you can go to find out about the different events that we host and our Nimble ND Connect events. We talk about them here on our podcast, LinkedIn if you're on there. Oh, pardon me. That was rude. Let's see if I can take that out of post. Any final words, folks?
Hurrah.
Are you a Marine? Like, what are we doing?
I was trying to be clever, but instead I was annoying.
No.
By the power of Grayskull.
I have the power!
And he ends up in the skimpiest outfit. What's up with that?
Did you not watch it in when you were a kid?
No, it irritated me.
You know, the more clothes they had, the more it cost the animators. So, you know.
Grayskull's in like a full thing. He-Man's rather like he's very Conan.
Who's Grayskull?
Who's Grayskull?
Well, who's the bad guy?
What's his name?
Can't think of it either.
Yeah, you can't giggle and judge and then not come out with it. So both of you.
Well, it's okay. By the power of Grayskull,
No.
that's
That's where he gets his power. He doesn't get his power from the
evil guy.
Yeah.
Well, who's the evil guy? He's
Not
purple. And he does the weird...
Skeletor.
Skeletor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, trying to make me lose my nerd card, and then you didn't. Okay, thanks everybody.
We weren't wrong. That's the difference. You were wrong. We didn't remember
wrong.
what was right, but you were wrong.
We
actually
didn't remember what was right, but you remembered it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Exactly.
Okay. Thanks everybody. We really appreciate your time. And we will talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Paul said it on.
Did it. I did
so
it.
proud
I
of you.
did it.
All right.
Pride moment. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Elizabeth Blue from Spiro Canada, one of your pirates on the Riff Raff podcast team. My fellow pirates include Maddie Dever from Autistic Bridge, Sydney Elaine Butler from Accessible Creates, and Paul Coleman from Creation Designs, who is our very own Arctic LARPing Santa. Thank you for joining us on the Neurospicy Seas, and we wish fair winds to you all.